Hey, everybody, it's Scott Stain with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Friday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Joined as always by my capable co-host TGIF coming from South Beach, baby. Scotty, how are you? You got a tan yet?
No, I ended up getting my flight delayed for about 3 hours, give or take, at the
Oof.
airport, which wasn't fun. Missed pretty much all of the entertaining sporting events and their conclusions. I missed the second half of the Nets game, missed the entire Golden Knights game, and I also missed about 3/4 of the Utah Los Angeles game. Other than that, though, my day was great. How's your
There
day?
you go. There you go. Yeah, it was all right. We went to 3-0 on our picks, hit both the premiums and hit the play of the day, so that was a good thing.
Nice.
Everybody, they covered. They beat the spread. They did what they needed to do. So yeah, it's all right. Did you fly out of LaGuardia?
No, JFK.
Really?
Yep.
3 hour delay out of JFK? That is not good. I figured.
Well, I swear I feel like everybody has a story like this, but I swear I have the worst luck when it comes to delays with flights.
I figured you were flying out of LaGuardia being delayed 3 hours. That would
If
not have
being
surprised me.
profitable in sports betting is about 53%, I'd say my flight delay average is usually around 75.
Outstanding. Outstanding. That is, you are running hot, my friend.
It's hot, I guess. It's mostly running cold, but either way.
All right, let's talk about a little basketball, man. We got a couple of games. We're gonna grip it and rip it and get you in bed, man, because I know it's late over there. So how about a little 76ers and the old Hawks there, Scott? Joel Embiid, guess what? He's questionable.
Yeah, I'm sure after scoring 40 in game 2, he might not play in game 3.
And Philly opened as a 1-point favorite. A little bit of money on the old 76ers starting to creep in there. You're starting to see a little 1.5 start to pop its ugly head up. 224.5 where this open. We're seeing a tiny bit of over money. DraftKings is at 225, so they're drunk, so you never know, but could be a little bit of over money. Right now it says 71% of the money is hitting the table with the over, so we'll see how that shakes out when the bigger bets come in later today. So, Scott, I learned a lot about the meniscus today. I spent a little time watching YouTube videos from a couple orthopedic surgeons and found out all about the meniscus. So basically, it's hard to ascertain what kind of effect it's going to have on him until we know what kind of tear it is. And so we know it's the anterior, which is there's two menisci, as he said. There's one interior and a posterior, but anterior, posterior. But anyway, so it's basically just a flat disc, and it could be a tiny tear that could have been earlier in the season. It could be a big tear that you feel and it restricts your motion, and you got to have surgery. So without any more additional information on how big of the tear is, it's really hard to determine what kind of effect it's going to have. Apparently, and the surgeon said this because he was originally listed as day-to-day and not just out for the playoffs, it's likely a smaller tear. So maybe it's not as bad as we think. We hear knee problems, we immediately think ACL, MCL, but this isn't that kind of severity. So anyway, now you know more about the meniscus than you ever wanted to.
Well, on that note, I'm assuming Embiid will probably go for 35 plus again because Capella can't guard him, and Atlanta seems to just get into foul trouble almost every single game when they actually try to guard the guy. What did he attempt? 15 free throws last game? He attempted like 12 in the first game?
He is, I will tell you, Scott, I happen to have that note. He is in 2 games, 26 for 31 from the foul line.
And unlike Giannis, he actually makes his free throws. So that's a lot of points. So I expect Embiid to play well again. I know Trae Young struggled in the last game. You saw a little bit more Tybal, a little bit more Ben Simmons on him, which is what they should do because Danny Green proved in game 1 he could not guard him. But I know DeAndre Hunter is going to be out for the year. They announced that the other day. I don't really know how much of value that has offensively. Defensively, it's a big deal because Hunter is probably their best defender on the entire team. But at the end of the day, the Hawks are kind of this team that really just needs to hit 3-pointers in order to stay competitive. And you look at what Philly can get. That's why I took Philly in game 2. I just knew that they would get whatever they wanted in the middle. And Embiid ate them apart. You had Simmons, who played relatively well. And nobody could have expected the Shake Milton performance. But still, the point is that Philadelphia has a lot of weapons. And it seems like Atlanta really doesn't. or if they do, they're all kind of one-dimensional in the sense that they only shoot three-pointers. So if Philly kind of cracks that code and Atlanta doesn't shoot the lights out, I got to assume Philly's just a terrible matchup for Atlanta because they can't stop and beat on the inside. So I like Philly in the spot. I think Philly's going to keep this game really close, and I think eventually they will pull away late. So unless Trey goes for 30-something, I think Philly wins this game probably by 5+. You?
Solid. I've got to play. I've got a premium on the side, but I will talk about the total. I think the over money is wrong right now. If it's currently hitting the board of the over, I think that's the wrong play. I think this is going to be a bit more of a defensive struggle than anticipated. I will play the under. You know what? I'll play that DraftKings number. Give me under 225.
Yeah, I mean, at 225 is definitely a good deal. I don't exactly see much over money coming in. I know that you look at game one, and I feel like that definitely impacted the markets by trying to cause them to price it higher. But you saw game two, Atlanta barely broke 100, and that kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, this Philly defense, I think they came out and they got slugged in the mouth. They gave up 42 points in the first quarter. The first game, Trae Young went nuts. They made 6 3-pointers in the first quarter. You knew that wasn't sustainable. It took them a while to get their gears revved up and finally catch them there, or come close to catching them at the end. Didn't quite get there, but yeah, I think the 76ers defense has got it figured out, and they've been a world-class defense all season. I think that game goes under. All right,
and I do think the Hunter injury is going to really hurt when it comes to guarding Tobias Harris and company.
Agreed. Yeah, that Philly team, they've got more pieces than you realize. You always think of them as just Embiid, but there's somebody there to pick up the slack. It's not always going to be Shake Milton, but it's going to be somebody. So.
Yeah.
Suns Nuggets, Scott. Suns are up 2-0. Nuggets are in a world of hurt right here. Odds makers say Nuggets get one. They are 1.5 point favorites. Total 223.5. Starting to see some under money come in there as it's dropped down to 222.5 or 223, depending on where you are looking. Scott, I'm going to tell you the best play you could possibly make right now, and that is the Phoenix Suns to close out this series at -850. All right, sounds like a lot of juice, right?
So I don't think Denver's winning 4-6. So.
They're not in the semis of the NBA playoffs. Scott, is the absolute worst time to go down 2-0. 109 times the team has gone up 2-0 in the semis. 105 times they have moved on to the next round. That is a 3.7% probability. -850 works out to 10.5% probability. It's a lot of juice, but there's a lot of meat on that bone. An overlay of 2.8x. I'll play that every day. In fact, I did play that today. I don't 850.
Can I parlay the Nets now with the Suns because they were both up 2-0 at the time?
I don't know. There's a book for everybody, Scott. I'm sure there's a book out there.
Just saying, Nets did lose yesterday, but they were technically going to fill that trend anyway because they were up 2-0. So you can make an argument if you can parlay series prices. That's an option there. But for this game, I don't want to compare the Suns to the Nets in this situation, but I kind of have to because you look at the first 2 games in the series when the favorite was at home, it was an absolute bloodbath. And Denver at no point was really close. They were close for about 3 quarters, 2.5 in game 1, and then Phoenix absolutely destroyed them. And then game 2 was just a destruction from start to finish. But the thing is, we keep talking about all these phenomenal players, whether it's Lillard, whether it's Jokic, whether it's Giannis or Durant or everybody like that. It's so amazing how quietly Chris Paul can dominate a team. And just nobody talks about it. Like He's putting up 15 assists and 0 turnovers in pretty much every game in this series. And Denver's come nowhere close to even being in the realm of stopping him. He looks so comfortable right now. And I don't think they can do anything to stop him.
You had a preview of the Denver deficiency in their guards when they played Portland. And it's just turned up a notch against this Phoenix team that can come at you from so many places on the wing. So
I can't pick Denver. I know that Milwaukee took a decent amount of money yesterday because they ended up going to 3.5. They didn't cover, but they played well and they ended up winning the game. But I'm looking at Denver, and Michael Porter Jr.'s got the back issue. Of course, Murray being out's a big deal, but Jokic has had a decent series. He wasn't great in game one. He was pretty good in game two, and they still got buried. I'm
Yep.
just going down the line. Chris Paul's getting whatever he wants. Booker's getting whatever he wants. Ayton's getting whatever he wants. And Bridges every now and then could have a very good game and sometimes not, but Crowder's been good too. I just kind of compare it to what we said about Philly, which is that I just think Phoenix has too many weapons. I just don't think Denver can keep up with this team. Now, I hate picking Denver to get swept or anything because they do have a home court advantage in altitude, and it is also difficult to bet against the team that's in a must-win situation, which we keep having the cliche for game three. But I just think Phoenix is such a terrible matchup for this team because they can't stop any of the guards, and Phoenix's defense is just smothering this team.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. It's a situation where Phoenix has the advantage at four positions, all the positions except the center, and Ayton has done a decent job with Jokic. I'm going to thread the needle here, Scott. I took my play of the day. It was Denver first half -1.5. I'm going to take Phoenix plus the points for the full game.
Okay. I think you just take the money line if you want, but fair enough. But either way, I wanted this to be a competitive series, and I thought it would go 6 or 7. But Phoenix, I also didn't think Chris Paul would be this healthy. Like I kind of assumed that his shoulder issues would kind of carry over a little bit into this series. He looks like it's 2012.
Yeah,
Like he's absolutely just destroying people in the pick and roll, and he never turns the ball over, which is important. Campazzo was terrible in the second game. Morris was awful into the first game. It's not quite like having two quarterbacks in college football because it means you don't have any, but they really don't have a point guard, and they keep trying to piece some stuff together with Rivers and with all those other two guys I mentioned. That's not going to compete with Chris Paul. And Booker is going to get whatever shot he wants. But I think the Porter injury is the icing on the cake because Jokic needs a second guy who's going to step up and potentially drop 30. And based on Porter's back, he's looked off the series, and I'm expecting him to go for, 15 points maybe?
Then about the number, yeah.
That's not enough. And Barton was okay in limited action, but I'm not going to rely on him as the –
Yeah, I think Barton played 15 minutes.
That's what I thought he would play. Like, he was okay, but I just think Phoenix is too talented and too deep. So I'll go Phoenix. And the total I'm torn with, I'm going to go with I really don't even know for a total, honestly. Like
Scramble late, give me the over.
Yeah, I got nothing for this total.
Okay. All right, good enough.
I do like Phoenix in the spot.
All right, very good. As always, if you're looking for more information on these games or any others, don't forget to stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com, your one-stop shop for all things sports betting related. Deep dives, previews, and predictions on every single game, every single day. It is always free. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for the whole team over here at Winners and Whiners, appreciate you guys watching today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stick around. Right around the corner, we're going to be doing part 2. We're doing the MLB style. All right, you guys take care, and we'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting.